episode 128 of the podcast, titled Move Beyond Blame, Live Healthy and Happy Post-COVID-19. So I don't know if it's post-COVID yet, but we do definitely need to start thinking about how we're going to move forward. And it's interesting listening to that podcast because I was thinking the same thing. This has never happened before, right? Unprecedented is a good word. And for something that has never happened before, people are afraid. And when you're afraid, you want to put blame on something or someone. And I see that going on, just as you said in the podcast. And we need to figure out how to get beyond the blame and beyond this current situation and live happy and healthy lives without putting it on someone else.
Yeah, what inspired me to actually do this is I was hearing the same thing. People blaming even the government for not taking care of things. We have to really move beyond because, of course, it's not one person, one thing, one decision that's actually created this. And I put post-COVID-19 because we have to now lift ourselves. Quarantine is going to start getting lifted. We're not going to be under quarantine forever. And when I say post-COVID, COVID-19, I should say, because there's been many COVIDs before even, without us even knowing it. And how are we going to move forward? Have we learned anything in this quarantine situation? Have we learned anything over the 4 to 6 weeks? Or are we going to keep that perpetual blame, anger, frustration? I don't want to sit. One of the people in our community the other day said, why don't I talk about the grief response? And if we really look at it, there's the people that are denying it doesn't even exist. Then there are people that are angry. There are people that are frustrated. There are people that are falling into depression. What is this all about? It's really about it's the time is here. And I'm going to be real strong with this and say it. The time is here. We have to go inside, do our own checks and balances and our own inventory. And I believe that's used in some of the students who do rehab programs where they talk about doing your own inventory and really stepping out of the outside. It's somebody else's fault. It's no one else's fault but our own, in the sense that we're collective here. And we saw that, and I mentioned it in the podcast, where a virus that starts in China has come to visit us here in the West. That shows us that the whole globe is connected. And that's the lesson here. And what can we do moving forward post-COVID? The first thing we can do is work with our own inner self, our mind. And that's why I just started. I said, people are asking me to teach meditation classes. And I was thinking, well, I do teach them, but no, they want it live. They want guided meditation. And rightly so. We need to come back into that space of who we are. As Pandit Rajmani Tiganath, the spiritual head of the Institute, Himalayan Institute, has said in his work with Vishoka meditation, and he said it over and over, we must bring our mind back home. Our mind's out there pointing the finger, putting our nose in other people's business. No, let's bring it back. And let's bring it back to ourselves. How are we reacting? And that's what I've used this lockdown for, or this quarantine. It's really not lockdown. It's a minor blip in the system. Because what's going to be bigger is how we go post-COVID, not how we're treating COVID right now. That's all part of it, but how are we going to move forward as a union of people, as a globe? Well, we're all more compassionate. We're all, put a smile on our face and say hello to someone. And we're all aware of our own weaknesses and our own fears. And many have done that. Really looking at ourselves. What is it that's causing the disruption in our own thought process during this? Because what happens, and the great masters have said, and I've been told, when we have something like this that really presses against us, right? Let's say quarantine.
Right.
That was big for this culture especially. So it's pressing us. When anything presses us, it forces us to look at ourselves. And that's where people go wild, insane, like, wait a minute, let me blame you. I don't want to look at myself. So what's so exciting about this, I'm so excited about the whole thing because it's forced me to even look at myself. And we were just talking how much waste that we've had. How many paper towels are you using a week? Or toilet paper, are you using it differently? And we were just talking about making bread when we did the setting the stage, our sound checks and all of that,
Right.
and how you take one piece when we make our bread. I take that one piece and I rinse it and I use it over and over and over again. And my own consciousness has changed, and I want everybody else to have that same support and feeling of it's okay. Let's go post COVID together as a team, as a community, and be the light for others, not feed. How many of us, including myself, I don't separate from the world. How much of my own frustration, anger, irritation have I put out into the world to feed the virus of the mind? And by the way, a physical virus, a physical seed is fed by the vibration of that also. Let's not fool ourselves. We keep things alive unknowingly. And that's a topic for another philosophical discussion, but I can bring the science to it also. But we are the gatekeepers in one sense. Nature's responding to our vibration. No ifs, ands, or buts. Nature vibrates to our vibration, and we vibrate to nature's vibration. So let's clean our vibration to be a clear crystal focus of positive force, positive change, and everything will start to fall accordingly. When people say to me, and I get it, oh no, what are we going to do? What if we don't have this? What if we don't have that? Why are we focused on what we don't have? Let's focus on our strengths of what we do have. And what we do have is we have a mind. And when that mind is clear, calm, and tranquil, we could go out and change everything that has been in the past to a new beginning, a new frontier. And that new frontier is positive change. It's to put our hand out and be compassionate and show love to others and not point a finger or even make fun of people that are in a fearful mode. Let's bring them along. Let's step above the current of fear and move into the light. And that's what this is all about as far as I'm concerned. So no blame. Let's move post-COVID, move out of this quarantine, which is a semi-quarantine, and move with a positive light for others.
Right. That is a virus in itself, and our thoughts are contagious. So whether
That's
you're
right.
blaming somebody or, fear mongering or
Yeah.
spreading positivity, both are contagious. So let's choose which one we're going to make contagious and have an R naught value of, say, 4 or 5. Spread positivity, don't spread fear.
Right. So instead of looking at what the economic people are doing, and we know that there are things that are not being done with the interest of humanity in mind, but everyone's doing their best. So if we come together and we put that positive contagion out there, the people who are doing whatever they're doing won't have any really effect on anything because the positive mode will come, not the hysteria or the sticks and stones and all of that hitting people. And that just adds and creates problems. So let's all move with where we want to see the world, not where possibly things that are happening. Where are we going? Take your strength and move forward, not your weakness, because we all have strengths and weaknesses. Focus in on your strength, and that's what I do with meditation. Let you tap into your strength and then bring that strength forward. And then the weakness goes away. And that's what it's all about. That's why we're doing Meditate on Thursdays. I'm doing it live now, and we have a big community doing that now, and I'm excited to be leading that.